let's talk about the Rumble itself, mainly the incredible finish. Lex Luger and Bret Hart are going to be co-winners of the Rumble when they synchronize perfectly and go over the top rope together and their feet hit the ground at the exact same moment. Ted, it's seriously uncanny how perfect they timed this thing. I assume it's mostly Bret. He's a great athlete and just kind of timed it out, but it's insane how they both hit at the same time and they're just co-winners. And do you think it's safe to say that Vince maybe wasn't quite ready to commit to one or the other as this new flag bearer for the company at this time?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that was the issue or if the issue was still unanswered.
Mm.
And let's do this finish tonight this way where they both hit at the same time, and we'll talk about where we're going later. I don't know.
Man, it's if you haven't seen that clip, listeners, go and find that clip of those two hitting at the same time. Bruce has said that they had a bunch of camera angles prepared for it so that, they would be just above the feet with some angles so that if they didn't hit, that's what they would show on, the videotape is
Yeah.
just like ankles up. But he was like, we got to just show the normal footage because it was perfect. They hit at the exact same moment. So pretty wild stuff. And Ted, when it comes to Luger and Bret and that argument, I think the argument could be made either way at this point as to which to go with. Luger has got that kind of box office look that Hogan had, and there's a case to be made that he could carry the company as champion just due to what he brought from an aesthetic perspective and the possibility to create merchandise centered around him. On the other hand, you've got Bret, who's, as we mentioned, he's over with the audience, and he's arguably the best technician in the world. Hart had also already had a run with the WWF Championship before, so putting it back on him just kind of feels like going back to the well as opposed to trying something new. I don't know, Ted, with all that in mind, if Vince had asked you after the show, the pay-per-view closes and he turns to you and he goes, all right, Ted, who do I go with right now, Lex or Bret? Are you going Bret?
I probably would have because at that time, and again, I love Lex to death, but at that time, Lex was, I mean, still pretty green in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have a lot of years behind him in terms of wrestling. So you're going to take a guy who has this great body, and I guess then what you're going to have to depend on then is guys like Bret Hart and me and just about everybody else to get in the ring with him and make him look good.
Yes.
I mean, just seriously, that's where it was at that time because Lex, was not that much of a seasoned guy. He just had this great look, and God bless him because it takes a lot of discipline to build a body like that and maintain it.
No question about it. I mean, he's one of those guys who's probably avoiding all sweets on the road and limited carbs and, just a high protein diet to keep himself where he was. So, I mean, a lot of commitment and good for him. It's incredible. But your perspective on this is really valuable because you lived through the days of Warrior, not comparing the two because I think that as human beings, they're very different people. But, you lived through the era of a guy who's got a great body, but didn't know how to work. And yeah, maybe it was okay for a while and sold a bunch of merchandise, but we all saw how that ended up.
Yeah. And that was the other thing. It's like, and maybe Vince knew that going in. I mean, Vince is, obviously he's a brilliant guy to build a company like that. And of course, to have an understanding of where he was going and, changing the audience to be to a younger crowd and stuff like that. But I don't know Lex and, Warrior, Warrior even, well, at least I would say this, at least Lex appreciated what was done for him.
Mm-hmm.
In those terms, I mean, understanding, but again, back to the Warrior. I mean, this guy didn't, no, he didn't care about anybody but himself. And, and not even smart enough to realize that the other guy that's in the ring with you can make you look good or make you look like a piece of crap.
Yep.
if he wants to.
We're about to wrap this thing up, but you brought something up that I've never even thought of asking you about before when it came to you working with the Warrior. Because you disliked him so much, and you're one of those veteran guys who kind of knows all the tricks. Did you ever make him look bad in the ring? Did you ever try to like blow him up or screw with him?
No, I
Not your
didn't.
style.
No, not my style. You know what? It's a business, and I did what I was there to do. You know, and that would be the other thing. Now, if I'd have worked with him like in some like smaller event, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's where I would have, but on a major telecast, no, I'd never do it there.
You're the consummate pro.